the mycelium, even though it might not have like all the magic, you know, you can do a big batch that's like 90% lab cultured mycelium, and then just throw in a little 10%, like, you know, or even less than that. I mean, in homeopathy, they take plants and they dilute them. They do an extract of it, and then they dilute that extract 50,000 times. And each time in between, they're like shaking it and swirling it and, like, you know, putting it in the full moonlight and, like, you know, praying to it and whatever, like, crazy stuff they do. And it's like, the more diluted it is, the more potent it is, because the more it's working on the energetics, I guess, that the underlying.
I think what you're getting into the realm of homeopathy.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to be able to get a few of the molecules diluted so that it sort of guides your body along instead of being inundated with a lot of chemicals, no matter how good they are.
Right, exactly.
It's like a communication to your body.
Exactly. I really love that idea that, you know, there's, when we take in these plants and these foods and bring them into our bodies, there's a certain kind of information exchange that's facilitated, where it's like the genes in the plant or in the mushroom are interfacing with our cells and sharing information on how they live and how to survive in a world that's constantly changing. You know, I think that's really like the best definition for adaptogen is something, you know, genic being life and adapto meaning, you know, your ability to change. So adaptogenic means being able to change with life. And these plants and fungi that help to facilitate that kind of adaptability and that kind of flexibility with life, they're really powerful teachers. And when we eat them, they are actually teaching ourselves. They are actually teaching our bodies and teaching our genome how to structure itself, how to arrange itself for the highest possible good of all beings everywhere. I think that's ultimately what life is about, is evolution, right? Mm-hmm. It's interesting that people like forget that evolution is a constant, and I guess it's just a discrepancy between whether evolution is constantly life getting better and better, but I figure, why not, man? You got infinite amount of energy in the universe, might as well use it to be absolutely blissed out. Just, it seems like the most logical sense. Like, if you're an all-powerful being, if an all-powerful being exists, like, how would you use your energy? To feel blissed out, of course. You're wise. You know that blissed out feels better than miserable. So, I think it's these beings, this Chaga, you know, this is like such an old being from such an old part of the forest with such like wonderful stories to tell ourselves about life and how to stay flexible and how to be wise. So, Chaga, I know notice obliquus.
So are all mushrooms adaptogens?
No, some of them are deadly poisonous.
They adapt, you adapt.
They adapt you right into the soil, right into the compost pile. No, but a lot of the mushrooms that are classified as medicinal, I would say, are in the adaptogenic category. Some of them are more like antiviral. I think, you know.
So this one is the chaga.
Yeah, definitely chaga is an adaptogen. Reishi, you know, really, yeah, I guess all of them. All the mushrooms. Like all the mushrooms are awesome. They all make life better, so they're adaptogenic.
It's got SOD, like, it's the best source of SOD, right?
Oh yeah, superoxide dismutase, which is a very powerful antioxidant. Thank you for reminding me about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for the geeky people, superoxide dismutase, very potent source of that, which is amazing. It has like 10 times the free radical scavenging abilities of other. Do you know any stories about the superoxide dismutase?
I was watching a YouTube video of some guy. He seemed like a professor. Seemed like he knew what he was talking about.
See, YouTube University, I'm telling
Yeah.
y'all, there's like gems out there. You're like sitting around watching cats and baskets, like, you know, you can like click like at least one Chaga video per 6 cute kitten videos, okay?
Paul Stamets, watch Paul Stamets.
Yeah, Paul Stamets is the man, he's good. So yeah, let's switch the topic.
I spell Stamets.
Stamets. And I would look up his, I would start with his TED Talk, 6 Ways Mushrooms Can Save the World. It's like a really inspiring and powerful way to spend 18 minutes of your life. Really amazing. I think about it all the time. Like, really all the time.
Well, have you heard that mycelium network is the one that holds the whole energy grids together?
Oh, okay. I could
That's
see
what
that.
my teacher, my Shoshone teacher taught me that. Like, it holds the whole energy of the earth together. It's the communication system.
Yeah. Yeah, we call it the Wood Wide Web.
The
Yeah. Which goes back to what you were saying about how the mushrooms came in and
Uh-huh.
then shifted.
Yeah, from...
If that's what we're relying on.
Yeah, okay, fine. Let's talk about it just for a quick second, just in case some of y'all haven't heard this idea, this exogenesis kind of idea where, you know, highly advanced beings found the earth or, you know, located it and saw like it had the right kind of mineral content, the right kind of structure, the right, you know, enough water, a cool enough temperature, a warm enough, stable enough sun, the right distance, the right rotation or whatever. And so they sent a comet that was basically like the little inoculum. It was like the little yeast packet that you pour into a mead that you're making. And if you don't know how to make mead, come out on Wednesday and I'll teach you. So they sent this comet out and it had fungus on it, and that fungus is what started, you know, fungus and bacteria, and they basically like had this little microbiological suit in suspended animation that they sent through the cosmos, and it hit the earth, and then life started evolving, and then when it got to a point where self-sentient life was on the planet, they sent spores for a psychedelic mushroom to Earth, the psilocybe genus, sent spores of that to Earth so that the monkeys would start, you know, connecting more and communicating more and learning that they can experience blissful states of expanded awareness, and they basically used mushrooms to steer our evolution. And that's actually what facilitated the the development of the human brain, is interaction with psychedelic, and then I think the psychedelic mushrooms introduced them to other edible mushrooms, and they started playing with fire and cooking mushrooms, and that's where they got the proteins that enabled the brain to develop the way it did. Anyway, fun stuff in mushroom land. So let's talk about another plant. This is a plant now. So this technique of dual extraction, where you boil the material and then add alcohol to it, this technique is not only good for mushrooms, it's good for certain kinds of plants as well. So really it's good for anything where you want both alcohol soluble constituents and water soluble constituents. And so I chose Smilax to be our plant friend on this journey for a couple reasons. I really like Smilax. It's a really like...
What's Smilax?
Some people call it catbrier or greenbrier, or some parts of the South they call it blaspheme vine, because if you catch yourself caught in a patch of it, you're prone to blasphemy. It's these skinny little green green vines in the woods that will sometimes take over a whole patch and form this crazy gnarly tangle. And they've got these pretty long, straight, spiny thorns on them. They'll tear you up. They will tear you up if you get caught in a patch.
I
If
know
you're
what you're
just
talking
trying to
about.
fight with it, and yeah, and then it's like scratching you through your pants and through your
Usually
coat.
I
You're
have
like,
a pair of shears or pinchers,
uh-huh.
and
And
I just cut them up very small amounts.
so they've got really delicious tips in the springtime that I'm a big fan of as a vegetable. And then the other thing that they got going on though is these roots. If you follow the vine down and you dig down, you probably won't find one of these roots. What you'll find is the vine goes underground for like 100 yards in that direction, 20 yards in that direction, 30 yards in that direction. You follow each one of them back and it breaks off before you get to the really good stuff. But
Did you found that?
I got super lucky. I was looking for it and I was digging all over the place and I found like 2 little piddly ones that were like, God, this is a tough mother. They were about this big. And this thing will laugh at a knife. That's how it feels. Yeah, I guess it's worth a shot anyway.
It's hard as stonework.
Huh?
Is that as hard as the stonework?
Here, let's pass that around.
It looks like we all get our hand and sounds like another one.
What's it called?
Smilax.
Are they hard to find? Are they rare or?
No, they are extremely common. So this is the other end of the spectrum from chaga. Chaga is this really isolated, rare, endemic plant. Here's other end of the spectrum. This is like growing all over the place, like all over. If you go to any woods, anywhere
It's
around,
like a little
anywhere.
bit, brownish or reddish on the tip, like
Yeah,
those
yeah.
tips, they curl around.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
This is dry.
They're good.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
Very dry.
Rocky
Don't
Park.
take your kid in a backpack walking through the woods.
Yeah.
I remember cutting up about 30 of those vines, and I cut them up into small 6-inch sections,
Uh-huh.
and left them right on the ground in a pile.
What?
Cool.
The plants with the red card.
So basically, you have one root that
It's
sends
like
out
everywhere.
vine.
A whole bunch of runners in every
I wonder,
direction.
biologically or nature, what's its purpose for having all those vines out? Does it flower? Does it get?
I think it's because then it's got the energy tucked away someplace nice and safe, you know. So then if anything happens to the vine 20 feet away, it's like, oh well, I'll just grow a new shoot.
Kind of like a mycelium network.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good metaphor.
It's like redundancy, you know. It's like having redundancy. It's like having a bunch of energy plants. So if one energy plant fails, then you just switch over to the other one.
So it's a matter of survival to have a redundancy.
Yeah.
Do they have leaves on the vines, or the vines themselves photosynthetic?
Yeah, they have leaves on them. They have kind of, what do you call it? Sort of like kind of triangular shaped leaves almost, but
Yeah, it's like a plant foraging course.
Well, some of them are
remember.
brown, some of them
Those
are
are the easiest one.
deltoid, and some of them are rotundifolia.
yeah,
There's
rotundifolia is a very
some of them
round
are-
one. Some of them are
different
kind of.
shapes.
Yeah, there's a lot of different species in this genus. I think around here we probably have at least a dozen.
Something like that.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. And then like in the U.S. there's probably like 40 plus, or
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know. I need to get botany in a day and take a look at Smilacaceae. So that's a good thing to know. This is in the Smilacaceae family. The genus is Smilax. So when you hear Smilacaceae, you know that we're talking about a family. Anytime that you hear in taxonomy terms somebody says Aceae, they're talking about a plant family. And so when we hear Smilacaceae is the family and Smilax is the genus, that tells us that this genus typifies the family. And in fact, I think it's the only genus in Smilacaceae, right? Since they moved it from the lily
It
family.
used to be a lily ace.
Yeah, it used to be a lily family.
I don't know, honestly, what's the only one.
Yeah. So,
Imagine.
so I really like this plant because it's super tasty. I also like it because we have a long history of interaction with it, and the stories that I hear about some of the people who had the deepest relationship with it and who probably had definitely the deepest relationship with these kinds of roots.
So,
These roots here were harvested in Florida. It's easier to get the stuff when the soil's sandy, right? Oh yeah, so I got this at the Florida Earth Skills Gathering. They cleared a bunch of invasive undergrowth out, and when they did, they were using these earth movers, and these things were just sitting all over the surface of the ground. I was like, win! Filled up like what's that?
they were fresh.
Yeah, I got them fresh and just sun dried them, and they've been sitting in my mom's
So
basement
how
for.
do you utilize this?
So far, it's been so hard that I can't figure out a way to break it up. So,
Probably have to get them while they're
You have
still
to
fresh.
cut them
but
small and
when
they're
they're
fresh.
fresh. What if you boil them?
well, I want to try breaking a blender with them. So, let's see.
Wait,
how
what if we? He's already made up his mind. But what if you soaked in water for 48 hours or 72 hours to rehydrate? To rehydrate the
Oh,
cells.
this is the one my
You're
mom
gonna
gave
bust
me.
your blender.
Yeah, this is a kick down, this community kick down, this abundance culture. I'm not afraid. I total faith that whatever is meant to happen will happen, and so I'm
Will it blend?
in that regard. Yeah, green
Start
bar, yeah.
smoking in 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's what it did with the chaga too. So this is a nice little black cat going on here. So if you try to just stick it in there, then the blade it'll get like wedged in there, and then the blade will just like stop, and your blender will go turn it off, and then you take it out and like get it going again. But if you start the blender first, then it goes and bounces all around in there, getting like little chunks knocked off of it a little bit at a time. So this is how you can use a really crappy
You
blender
need one of
to
those
get really.
compounders that they use in Polynesia.
Yeah.
A really
A big stick.
A big, gigantic metal.
Have we tried
like
it?
combo, so they just put
Copper pounder.
In a bowl.
Oh yeah, that.
Like that's
Like a
yeah,
mortar.
like a
pestle.
big
Yeah,
gigantic
just a
mortar
really-
pestle that's like.
We could just
really
use this
big.
floor basically.
Okay, so I need a jar to put this stuff in. Another jar.
Yeah.
So everybody knows, cut it up
They're
fresh.
actually
Cut it up
fun.
fresh.
Yeah, that was a really good reference when it fixed.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I heard that it sounded really great. It was in a red root and in like 10 hours. So rough and I couldn't do anything. I just like, I had all these plants that I had to break down and process in like 2 hours. It was dark. It was like 2 in the
So
morning.
what do you do with the smell? Like, even slicing it, dicing it as hard?
Yeah, just like something like that. I was gonna use it later.
Pack it up.
Yeah.
Loving intentions, I just took their head off.
Really